Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horror review. Months late, but finally, they dropped the Hellraiser remake on Amazon. Literally saw it this morning, so I'm like, here's what I'm doing for the next 2 hours, and yeah, got to watch it. I suppose the good thing is I've come in to all the. There wasn't really much of a hullabaloo. Kind of come in with a whisper, a wee bit of chatter about it, but the way they released it, just nobody was excited. What I will say, good bad points. One thing, this was fucking long. Holy moly. This could have been done with 40 minutes less. The first half of this was a drag. I mean, it took ages getting anywhere. So yeah, so by this stage, most people have seen the what do you call it, the description out there. So we're following the main protagonist, Riley, who stumbles upon the puzzle box, who's being guided. It's all a guy behind the scenes called Voight. She effectively messes with the box and people disappear as you're trying to solve the mystery to see what it's actually about. The concerns, if you've seen my trailer review, the concerns I had about this, yeah, a lot of them are confirmed. Right? First of all, this was sanitized, super sanitized until like the end, and even then, it was still very clean. Digital clean. Right. We've got an addict who can't hold down a job and has to be looked after, yet drives around in a nice car. Very strange. You know what I mean? She is not a good person. She's actually. I tried to stay away from the reviews and the talk about this because I wanted to wait until I could watch it myself because I didn't want to get drawn into stuff. But I heard something about looking like a hobo and all that, and yeah, the way they dress her up, she's not like you want to go take a wash after being around her for a bit. Just got that kind of vibe. But at the same time, they're in an apartment that's massive. Everyone living together, but it's obviously her brother. She's in with her brother. She's pushing his buttons. Usual. I have a problem with addicts. They destroy people's lives, and they will take everything from you and then move on to the next person without a thought. They're dangerous people to be around. You have to be careful. And she kind of, reinforces my prejudice, so to speak. I'm quite open about having prejudice in that respect. Yeah, so that kind of thing was making me. The guy Trevor, her boyfriend, it's very strange because it set him up to be the bad guy. The bad boy, the leading her astray. Yet he has it more together than her, and he's living in a massive apartment by himself. Like you're one of those like an entire floor of a penthouse type thing, and so you're walking down like a really nice stairway to get out. Yet their brother, who's supposed to have it all together, and his boyfriend supposed to be professionals, they're all sitting crammed together in his apartment. So straight away, something strange is going on. You're like, doesn't tie up. It's also, like I said, everything is just so crisp and polished looking. It kind of takes you away from the whole idea. Whole idea of Hellraiser is gritty. It's it's dirty. You have this sort of dirty, blood-soaked look to everything. And that's not here, which is a shame. Like I said, everything's just too polished and crisp, which was a concern. Unfortunately, it was proven to be right. What else? Really didn't like Riley's character. Wasn't rooting for her at all. Even the other Hellraiser movies, where you've got serial killers and deviants and people looking for the next. That's the whole point. Is the next level of sensation, of pleasure and pain mixed in it. Always going the next levels. You kind of understand where they're coming from, and why they seek the puzzle box, because eventually you travel in them circles. Then the rumor comes about of, the puzzle box that will take you to the next level if you solve it. You kind of get their arc, or people that have encountered the lament configuration and met the Cenobites and then made a deal. Then the offer up so many souls, but they're being tricked. All that kind of stuff. Even in the bad movies, it makes sense. Her character being involved in all this, just nah. Didn't get it. They should have just stuck with Voight, if I'm honest. They should have stuck with Voight, and they should have stuck with his journey. Because what they did is they started off with him at the beginning, and him and that throwaway character that you see in the trailers, and then it skips 6 years. Excuse me. And that's what happens, and then you meet these characters that are kind of... believe it or not, I like Trevor's character. I did. And Matt's character was decent, the brother, but didn't really give him much of an arc. You know what I mean? Kind of used him up, threw him away like quickly as possible. Trevor had the interesting one, and even though they tried to portray him to be a bad guy, they kind of made you sympathetic towards him, especially compared to Riley, because her character was just honking. Yeah, so although they tried to set Trevor up as the bad guy, he's actually pretty decent compared to the main antagonist. So yeah, the reason I'm talking so much about the human characters because they take up 3/4 of this movie, and you only get whispers of the Cenobites throughout it. The Cenobites don't really appear in full force until the end. Yeah, so the first half of this movie just focuses on these characters, and most of them are just wooden planks. Nora and Colin, the other two characters, they're just kind of walk through it. What I will say, I don't like what they did with the puzzle box. I don't like the blood thing, and the fact that you can offer, you just offer others. Didn't like that. I like the fact that it's your desire calls them, and the Cenobites can then decide whether or not to, what I mean. That's made it very robotic and formulaic, and didn't enjoy that aspect of it. The Cenobites themselves actually were pretty decent. I'll be honest, they actually made them grounded. Now, normally, in the older movies, it's all about Pinhead, and the other Cenobites were just add-on characters. They actually gave the Cenobites in this one, each one of them, personality and a bit of... Now, they're only tiny slivers of interaction, but you could almost delve into each Cenobite and see a story behind them. That was interesting. That was actually well done. They should have maybe played with that a bit more. What they could have done was encountered a different Cenobite up until Pinhead, being the ultimate, and then Leviathan. They did Leviathan really well in this, I'll say. That was cool. So by bringing Leviathan back and having Leviathan the main focus, that was a cool aspect. But it was all kind of rushed at the end. It was all kind of jumbled at the end. They wasted half of this movie. I think that's what's annoying me about it. The first half of this movie was an absolute waste of time. And honestly, I was starting to, are we getting somewhere yet? So much missed opportunity. Now, what they did, there was a bit of a tightrope with the Cenobites. I know what they were trying to portray. They're trying to portray them as, they're not in a rush. They're not your standard killer, they're calculated. They take their time. They know they're going to get you. There's no escape from them. I get that. Unfortunately, after watching the first half of this movie, when you get them, they come across almost robotic in their sort of movements, except for Gasp. Gasp was quite cool, was not really moving much until the mechanism released there, and then, that was actually cool. But underutilized again, because they only had a brief moment and got trapped in a doorway. So, God, Where do I go next with this? Yeah, she messes with Trevor talks her into breaking into a place, which is very strange. But we'll find out it's all set up. It's fucking it was odd the way the plot, the actual plot line of this, how to get Riley involved was very strange. And why choose her? Like at the end of the day, the the Cenobites don't go after street rats. That wasn't their thing. They want people wanting the sand to go to the next level. So they want to accomplish, not don't necessarily mean rich, but um a gutter rat junkie is not an enticing uh target or victim or you know participant for the Cenobites. That was the thing. So her making that, I don't get it. But yeah, the break into this warehouse, which has one ISO container. You open the ISO container, there's one safe, and you open the safe, and there's the box with the box inside. I know, but yeah, it was a bit contrite. But surely, if you were breaking into the warehouse, not that you'd be like, nah, this isn't good. I'm out. And supposed to be recovering, this guy's supposed to be leading her astray, but at the same time, it's just he's already living a good life, and actually, him leading, he's actually living a better life than her. And I don't get what I don't get. Frankly, I'm having a struggle with this because it's a okay. This was annoying because I've literally just watched this about 10 minutes before going live. The plot's weak. Let's put it like that. The plot is weak. Bit contrived how to get Riley involved in this. So they made a bad protagonist, and I'll use that term loosely because she has no protagonist. They should have just stuck with Voight's character and his journey. That would have been much better. Because at the end of the day, they finished off his arc and what happened to him. There was more than enough there to make a tight 90-minute movie and introduce these. And I was a bit iffy about the costumes because you're seeing, when the set pictures and all are coming up, they look horrible, but when the CGI'd over the top of them and the atmosphere, they actually look pretty decent. And the idea is that the material's made out of their own skin. Yeah, I kind of got that, and that was cool. They actually looked really well on screen, but the screenshots are putting about social media at the moment are doing no justice whatsoever. I'll just put that out because they look like latex rubbery. I think we maybe want to trim that down a bit in the future. Just they still have that kind of rubbery look, and it's not. Don't know how they'll do that, but because they're full body suits, yeah, you've got that creature from the Lost Lagoon type of vibe. Like I said, they had the CGI over the top to make him look decent, but the idea behind him is cool. The Cenobites weren't in control. I think that's what's getting me as well. They were cool, and when they had their moments, but they weren't the imposing figures that they normally are. I think that's what's annoying me about this. They were like almost like side characters brought in, which I didn't like. To me, it was a wasted opportunity. You had each Cenobite has its own voice and character. They have one that's like a crossover between Deep Throat and Angelique, and she's actually quite cool. Really good Cenobite there. Chatterer, the reimagining of Chatterer was actually quite decent, and they had them more physical than the normal Cenobites. Like, let's be honest, nothing could be worse than bloody Camera Head and CD Man. Like, that was the absolute dog shit in Cenobites ever. They were in a stupid dog Cenobite. That I mean. So these are actually compared. When you look back over the franchise and you remember those, these ones are really thought out. It just because of the slow pace of this movie, and they didn't get their opportunity. The victims, as they were taken up towards the end, was all blurred out and off camera, which I was worried about it being sanitized. So the first couple of deaths were just, and actually three of them you didn't see. Like the first one just blurred in the background. And that's, why are we doing this in 2022 when 1980s was able to do more gruesome and make things look better? Why is this sanitized, friggin', off screen type thing? The first decent death was Nora. I know death isn't really the right word when you're dealing with Cenobite, but the interaction between Nora and the Hell Priest was actually the first sort of decent exploration into a weird travelers and sensation and looking at that. So that was actually a decent scene. It was just too, there wasn't enough of it. There was an opportunity here, I think, for the people to encounter each Cenobite and to be tortured in their own way or explore the pleasure and pain aspect, the sensuality, which isn't in this. There's brief moments, and that was it. Barely even like that. And that's the whole point of this franchise, which unfortunately, why they'll always be low budget, because normally audiences aren't into that, and studios won't finance anything for a niche genre, if that makes sense, or franchise, which is annoying because the people that are into it will buy the DVD box sets, they'll buy the merchandise, they'll buy the figurines, they'll buy stuff. There's a market beyond just the movie. The movie's just a placeholder, to get people, keep people invested. And they haven't twigged onto this. Given that it's TV streaming like Hulu, I know it was created by Spyglass, but given that the things like Hulu is not a good idea. I think maybe HBO might have done a better job. At least they're a bit true. Like they did a fantastic job with the Spawn series, which would be the closest, I think, the Hellraiser in terms of the aesthetics and the effects. I think they're the two closest franchise in Heaven, Hell, all that kind of material. So I think they'd be the better people to go to. I don't know why they went to Hulu, because everything's happened what I was worried about. Too clean, sanitized. The killings aren't there, and then it kind of goes up to the meanders along. They spend quite a bit of time in the mansion. It was good. What I was worried about in the trailer, actually, with the corridors, turned out to be okay. So I was glad that there, he's built this place for a purpose, and them getting trapped in the corridors and stuff actually was okay. I was worried about them doing that instead of the other dimension coming in. Now, the hellscape, the dimension coming in, was CGI'd, really badly CGI'd. It was really, like I said, crisp, clean, barely. Even the abandoned mansion, for 6 years, just had a wee bit of dust on it and stuff. If this is somebody exploring pleasure and pain and torture and that, you didn't get that vibe. Even the blood, a lot of digital blood in this, and brief bits of like the sink filling up and stuff. It was just there for a moment to get it. So that kind of ruins the whole thing. All in all, didn't hit this movie. It wasn't Halloween Ends. Now there's a movie that you watch and you're like, oh my god, it's absolutely shit. But it wasn't. It was bland. It was meh, forgettable. I can guarantee you within a week or two, I'll have forgotten this movie, which is a shame. I was hoping Hellraiser was going to come back with a bang. I was hoping we're going to get, the new standard and moving forward. This, it's just, you'll watch it and you'll kind of go, Now all the hype, and I'll use that lightly because there wasn't really much hype about this movie, but the online chatter, I was all stopped after a couple of days of it coming out. Once a movie came out and people watched it, nobody's really talking about it anymore. And I can see why. So I don't know what's next. If they think about what the reception to it if they take feedback and maybe move forward, and change direction for the next one. But if we're going to have another movie like this, if they come back for another installment in the franchise, it's dead in the water. Because it was a lot to actually just hold on to the end with this one. So, didn't hate it. Wasn't riveted. I just thought it was a shame. There was so much. There was the elements were there. They just didn't make use of them. There you go. There's my review. Hopefully, I didn't spoil it too much. It's been around for a bit now, a few weeks at least, and obviously more people get a chance to see it now. It's on Amazon, and be interested to know what you think. So leave us a comment, all that good stuff. Keep up to date with the channel. We're back on tomorrow, Cameron and I, for a live stream with your Horrorific Talkspot. So if you can, check us out then. Until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.